All right, we're recording. Good morning. Welcome to Sunday morning yoga church. There will probably be some new people on the screen or new to my style of teaching on the screen, and or watching the video afterwards after we've complete class. So I just want to say one thing real quick just to preface the class. I do most of the teaching here at the screen so that I can see you and offer modifications. And it also helps me to see you, helps me pace the class to know if I'm going too fast or too slow, or if my teaching, if I'm verbalizing my cues in an articulate way that makes sense. So seeing you helps me. And hopefully by seeing you, I can then help you. So I do most of it up here. I'll get on the mat a little bit here and there, but otherwise I'm here. And we're going to start today. Well, first of all, let me just say that today's practice, we're calling it long and loose. I hope that you feel all long and noodly. Speaking of pasta, before we started recording, we were talking pasta and sourdough and baking and all that. So I hope that you do feel all long and noodly at the end of class today. And okay, here comes Amanda from Italy. And like I said, I have one block and a wall nearby. We're going to work on strengthening the hips as well as loosening the hips. And we're also going to work on lengthening the side waist, also called the flank. Lengthening the side body. Do a little bit of work over at the wall to do that. Welcome to everyone who's popping in. So let's go ahead and get started because we do have a lot of ground to cover today. We're going to start on the floor on our bellies in the prone position. You can have your block up at the head of your mat. We'll come to it shortly, but right now, come all the way down onto your belly. I'd like for you to stack your hands one on top of the other with your elbows bent. Rest your forehead on your stacked hands. If for any reason that does not feel great in your shoulders or your neck, ditch it. And I will say also to those of you who are new to my style of teaching, one of my mottos is, if you cannot get out of discomfort, get out of the pose. And I often love to quote Vanda Scaravelli, the late and great Vanda Scaravelli, in saying that if you don't like it, don't do it. Just ditch it. Just do something different. It's your practice. This is your time. So all the way down onto your belly, head on hands. Good. Move your breath through your nose, both the inhalations and the exhalations. Hi, Jill. Hi, Amanda. I want you to become aware of where your breath is moving in your body. Feel the power of your breath pressing your diaphragm downwards, the power of your breath pressing your belly, your abdomen into the mat. And not only into the mat, but sense the breath expanding you out to the sides widthwise. So try to get as wide on your mat as you can with each breath. And perhaps even feeling your breath expanding your low back, mid back, even upper back. Feel those back ribs that articulate with the thoracic spine. Broaden with every breath in and gently come back to right size with every breath out. Excellent. You can keep your left hand underneath your head. I want you to stretch your right arm long. Come up onto your fingertips, right arm way out in front of you. And then I want you to tuck just your right toes under. Push your right heel back and inch your right fingertips forward. See how long you can get through the right side of your body. Left toes can just stay down. Left foot can remain relaxed, but right leg is fired up. Lift your knee. Excellent. And then we'll change sides. Place your right hand under your head. Inch your left fingertips forward, stretching your left arm long. And it doesn't have to be right up by your ear, yeah? You can take it out on the diagonal a little bit, especially if your shoulders are a little saucy this morning. Tuck your left toes under, push your left heel, back, lift your knee and stretch through the left side of your body. Notice if there's any differences between right and left for you. Good, and then we take both arms forward, tuck all toes under, and give yourself a big long stretch and a big deep breath. Good, and then relax. Now go ahead and put your left hand under your head once again. Turn your head to look right. Now I want you to bend your right arm like a cactus. So the forearm, elbow is on the floor, the palm is on the floor. So here's what's gonna happen. You're gonna breathe in and press into the floor with all you've got with your right hand. And as you exhale, keep your right elbow down, but peel your right forearm and hand up. Now watch that your hand doesn't go like this. No major extension in the wrist. And then as you inhale, come back down with the forearm and the hand, press, 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 feel the muscles activate along your right side, and then keep the elbow down and just lift your palm and forearm up. It's not gonna come up very high, that's okay. We're gonna do that 2 more times on your own. Inhale and press down. Feel muscles activate even into your armpit. And then exhale, slowly lift up. Keep the fingers, the hand and the wrist in the same plane as the elbow. 1 more time. Pressing down and lifting up. Great, we'll change sides. You can bring your right hand underneath your head. Turn your head and look to the left so you can keep an eye on your left hand. And here we go, 4 times. Press, press, press. I want you to keep your pelvis stable, your abdomen stable, and then lift up. Good, elbow stays down. Press, 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 press. Now keep the elbow down so the elbow's like a pivot and just lift the forearm, palm, hand up. Good. 2 more times. I'll demonstrate on the floor if anybody's not is confused with what I'm trying to say. Elbow stays down, and then inhale, press, 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 press. Elbow down, forearm down, palm down, and then elbow stays down, forearm floats up on the exhale. Woo, great. Lower back down. Turn your forehead to the floor, bring your hands underneath your shoulders, lift yourself up onto hands and knees, and rock back into Balasana, child's pose. Good, come up onto your fingertips again, inch your fingertips forward as you sink your hips into your heels. Good, now we're gonna take this child's pose over to the left. So arcing upper body to the left. Keep your hips on your heels. Oh, reach, 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 reach. And I like to press my left fingertips into the floor, just beyond the left knee. So as I'm reaching the right arm up to the top left corner of the mat, I use my left fingertips to give me a little nudge into my right rib basket. Good, and then come back to center, pause, and we'll take it over to the other side, walking your left hand up towards the top right corner of your mat. Pressing right fingertips into the floor just beyond your right knee and giving yourself a good lean into your left ribs, settling your left sitting bone into your left heel. Good, come back to center, please. Full breath in and a complete exhale. And then come up onto your hands and knees for tabletop. I'd like you to take your block, if you're working with a block today, put the block underneath your right hand on its lowest height. And we're gonna do this, what I love to do, these scap squeezes, where on the inhalation, we draw the scapula towards the spine. And on the exhale, pull the scapula away from the spine. Now we keep the low back out of it. It's not a cat-cow. I want you to do this 5 times. The key is keeping the arms straight. So it isolates the movement strictly in the shoulder blades, strictly in the scapula, not the elbows. Good, so we're doing this with an asymmetrical action. Arms straight, just the shoulder blades moving. And then we'll do 5 times on the other side. Take the block over to the left. Left hand on the block, right hand to the floor. And here we go. Drawing the scapula in towards the spine and then pulling the scapula away. Belly stays firm. Take any exaggerated arch out of the lower back. Arms remain straight. Excellent. Slide the block forward. And then on both hands, we'll do this 3 times. Scapula come in towards the spine, squeeze, engaging the rhomboids, and then exhale, pull away. Twice more. Beautiful. We're going to come into thread the needle next. I'm going to have you take your block to the top right corner of your mat, lowest height. Set your right hand to the block, so your right arm is extended out in front of you. And then thread your left arm onto the floor between your right hand and right knee, between the block and the right knee. And there you are, and thread the needle with your right arm forward, right hand to the block. Good. Good. Bring your right hand off the block and set it onto the floor in front of your chin. Press into the floor so you can unthread your left arm. Return to hands and knees. You can move your hips from side to side a time or 2. And then again, if you're working with the block, take the block to the top left corner of your mat, just far enough to where you can have your arm straight and your hand in the block. Now your right arm will thread onto the floor, come down onto your right shoulder to the right side of your head. Excellent. Good. Fantastic. Bring your left hand onto the mat, just in front of your chin. Press the floor away from you so you can withdraw your right arm. Return to hands and knees. Ooh. And then let's take the cow of the cat-cow. So go ahead and arch, lower back, upper back, middle back. Look forward. Drop into child's pose as you exhale, hips to heels. And then breathing in, unpack yourself, coming forward to staff pose. This is plank in the vinyasa culture. Good, strong legs, strong shoulders, and then you'll exhale into downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Great, so that'll be our little flow as we get warmed up, warming up the body temple. Come to your knees as you breathe in and look forward, finding that arch to your low back, middle back, upper back, articulating those three regions of the spine, and then rock back into child's pose as you exhale, lengthening as you expel the breath. And then breathing in, come forward to staff, unpacking your joints, straight arms, straight legs, good. And downward facing dog as you exhale. Great, we're going to do that one more time. We're going to pause in the staff pose when we get there. So coming to hands and knees once again, starting the movement with your tailbone, low back, middle back, then upper back arches. And then child's pose as you exhale. Let the pressure of your knees to your thighs to your belly expel the air out. And then come forward to staff. Separate your feet at least 6 inches. I'm going to have you spin your heels over to the right. Keep both hands to the floor. So this becomes an oblique action. Both hands down, power down through the left hand. Hips raised, legs are strong. Good. That looks great, everybody. Very nice. Good. I want you to feel this in your side flank. And then roll up onto the balls of your feet again. Take your heels over to the left. Both hands on the floor, arms are strong. Collarbones looking to the mat, but twisting, rolling the right hip back. From the navel down, twisting to the right. And return to the balls of your feet. Take a full breath in. So when you exhale, you can lower all the way down to the floor. And take your right arm straight out to the right, palm down. And press your left fingertips into the floor just underneath your left shoulder. Roll yourself over to your outer right hip. Good. Palm stays down of the right hand. Be mindful, move carefully. Now, anything goes with your legs. I like to keep mine straight, but it's just a matter of personal preference. Some people might prefer to bend the left knee and set the left foot to the floor. The emphasis here is on stretching the fibers, the tissues around the right shoulder, particularly the anterior shoulder, the anterior deltoid, and the pectoralis muscle, upper right chest muscles. Now, if you get any tingling or numbness in your right fingers or hand, you got to bring yourself down a little bit. Don't compromise the integrity of your nerves, your brachial plexus, for the seeming glory of the pose. And lower back onto your belly once again, please. Very nice. And take your left arm out to the left. Place your right fingertips to the floor, about in the area of your right shoulder, and give yourself a little roll over to the left. Good. Excellent. Return to the mat once again, please. And I want you to bring your hands behind your back, clasping your fingers together. We're just going to do a very low spinal extension. As you inhale, pull your knuckles towards your heels, but keep your feet down, legs active, drawing the knuckles towards your heels, just a little lift of the head and chest off the floor. No great shakes right now. We've got a ways to go. Keep it low. Good. Keep it palatable. And then lower down to the mat. Slide your hands underneath your shoulders. Come up onto your hands and your knees. Pause for a breath. Maybe move your hips, undulate your spine. And then we'll make our way into downward facing dog. Good. So you can always do this next section on hands and knees. Totally your call. When you breathe in, I'd like you to float your right leg up. Roll your right hip back as you bend your right knee. Good, as though you're stacking your right hip over your left hip. That's it. Beautiful. Good, Melissa. And then reach your right heel towards your left shoulder. Good. So here comes a back bend. I want you to be strong through your belly. Good. Spin your hips back. Beautiful. Now, from this three-legged dog, I'll have you square your hips, re-extend your leg, and then bring your right knee forward as you come into a staff shape. and then the right knee comes down to the mat. So your right knee is about in the center of your mat. I want you to spin your right foot out to the right so it's behind you, and spin your left heel down. So we're just setting ourselves up for a modified Vashisthasana, or a modified side staff. Bring your block underneath your right hand. I'm going to have mine on the lowest height. You do you. I want you to fire up your left leg. Really hug the sticky mat with all four corners of your left foot. Draw your belly in, and then sweep your left arm up, over your head, reach, 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 and then circle down. And here we go again, 3 more times. Inhale, left arm up, reach over, 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 pause as you reach, and then circle down. Good, 2 more times. I want you to keep your pelvis square and your legs super static. So this movement is really waking up the connective tissues around the ribs. And on the last one, I'm going to have you keep your left arm reaching to the front of the room, or to the wall beyond your head. Good, now remember, left leg is totally fired up, belly is firm, lower limbs are static and stable, and upper body is just stretching and reaching. Now, instead of rolling your left shoulder back, I want you to roll your ribs up towards the ceiling, and let that action take your left arm back slightly. Turn your sternum towards the ceiling, roll these left ribs around towards the back. Strong left leg. 1 more breath, everybody. Beautiful. And then let yourself circle down towards the floor. Left hand to the mat. Set the block to the side. Right hand to the mat. Downward facing dog. Here we come. Woo! That's a different dog. Okay, second side. So either hands and knees or dog pose. Left leg floats up. You're going to roll the left hip open, bend your left knee, and reach your left heel towards your right shoulder. In fact, look over your right shoulder. Oh, just see how close you are. Oh my gosh. And while your left foot is reaching towards your right shoulder, pick that left knee up higher. Excellent. Square your hips, re-extend your leg. And then glide forward to staff with your knee bent, and then settle your left knee down to the center of your mat. Spin your left shin behind you, shin and foot behind you, so it's kind of like a kickstand. Block underneath your left hand. And here we go, second side. Fire up this right leg. No saggy, loosey-goosey. Right arm reaches up and over, breathing in. And then exhale, circle down. Reach up and over, breathing in. And exhale, circle down 2 more times. Good. Keep the legs stable. Very nice. On the last one, that right arm's going to reach up and over and stay there. Good. Reach fingertips to the wall beyond your head. Now belly firm. Just move your ribs. Rotate your ribs to the right. Rotate your ribs upwards. Excellent. Good. Oh, beautiful. And then let yourself roll towards the floor. Bring both hands to the mat. Slide your block off to the side. We'll come back to it in a moment. Make your way to downward facing dog. Ooh-wee. Now the breath has some space to move. Excellent. Good. Do what you need to do in this dog pose to make it feel good for you. Maybe wag your hips or march your heels. Okie dokie. Walk your feet to your hands, please. Okay, and here we go. I want you to bring your hands to your shins. On a breath in, come halfway up and look forward. This is called Ardha Uttanasana. And as you exhale, bow forward over your feet. Spill the breath out. Now listen, on the next breath in, Utkatasana. Bend your knees, sink your hips. Take your arms forward for 5 breaths, breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. And then breathing out. This looks great. Good. 3 more breaths. Looking strong, Maxine. I love it. All right, last breath. On the exhale, straighten your legs, fold forward, bring your hands behind your back, clasping your fingers together. Take your knuckles up and over your head. And let's pause here. I want you to open your mouth really wide, stick your tongue out. Blah, 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 blah. And pull your tongue back in, close your mouth, fingertips to the floor, please. When you take your next breath in, come halfway up, make it organic. It's not synchronized yoga. And then when you exhale, fold forward. You're going to step your right foot back and bring your right heel down. Okay. Grab your block. Take your block forward. Arms extended forward. And then slowly rise all the way up. It's a version of Warrior One with your block between your hands. This is just the transitional pose. Gonna have you take your block forward in your left hand and take your right arm back into Warrior Two. Where we're gonna keep working on lubricating the thoracic spine and moving the fascia and the tissues around the upper body. This is your inhale. When you exhale, sweep your right arm forward, reach for the block. Don't bend your left arm. That's cheating. And then inhale, take the block in your right hand and return to Warrior Two. Exhale, bring the block forward, place it in your left hand. And then inhale with an empty right hand, open up into Warrior Two again. We're gonna do that 2 more times for a total of 3. Just keep flowing your upper body, lower body stays static. The movement is through the ribs, the thoracic spine. Keep your arms straight, really reach for the block. And this is when you wish you didn't have one of those heavy rosewood blocks or bamboo blocks and you want to have the foam block because it gets heavy. Blocks get heavy. Great, 3 rounds. When you finish your 3rd round, wherever you are, I want you to get the block into your right hand. Bring the block back. Set the block to the outside of your right thigh. And then we can take the left arm up, maybe even sinking a little deeper into that left hip crease for Exalted Warrior. Good. Whether you choose to look up or not, totally up to you. Do what feels good on your neck and your shoulders. Good. Deep bend in that front knee. Sink. That's it. Great, Jill. Good. And sink into, I can't see you, but I'm sure you're doing great. Good. Sink into that front sitting bone. And then here we go. On an inhale, sweep your block up and overhead. As the arms meet, both hands come to the floor. Set your block down. Beautiful. And you can step back to downward facing dog. Take your time. Ooh-wee. Great. So some options here. You can stay in dog pose. You can drop to your knees and chill for a few breaths in child's pose, or come forward to staff. Now here's the fun part. You can stay in staff and hold this for a little while if you'd like. Those of you who are in the 21-day reset, if you want to get 5 of your push-ups out of the way, go for it. Knees or no knees. Good. And we're all going to return to downward facing dog. Excellent. From downward dog, I'm going to have you float your right leg up behind you. When you exhale, come forward to staff and bring your right knee to your chest. Excellent. 2 more times. Inhale, go back to downward dog, glide that leg up and back behind you. And exhale, knee to chest. Good. 1 more time. Inhale, float up. Exhale, come forward, knee to chest. Let's stay here. Pull the knee up. Pull it up, pull it up, pull it up. Good, draw the navel in towards the spine. Now here's the hardest part. Step forward. Beautiful, good, good, good. Bring your left knee down, please. And turn your right toes off to the right about 45 degrees. Good opportunity to employ your block. If you have it, put it underneath your left hand. And we flow. Inhale, right arm floats back. Turning to the right. Exhale, right arm floats forward. Inhale, right arm floats back. And exhale, right arm sweeps forward. Last one. When the right arm floats back, you're going to keep it back there. Your choice. If you want to kick your left foot up behind you and grab a hold of the right foot of the ankle, go for it. But we'll stay here for 5 breaths. Really good. Now, how about rolling your left shoulder back? Yes, very nice. Great, Kathy. If you've got a hold of your foot, release it and bring your right hand to the floor. Square your right toes to the top of the mat. Lift your left knee so you come into a runner's lunge. Push back through your left heel. Reach forward through the crown of your head, becoming impossibly long. And then inhaling, look forward, lifting up onto your fingertips. You're going to step forward when you exhale. Woo! Yowza. Utkatasana, 5 breaths. Bend the knees, sink the hips, arms come up. Good, nice deep bend, everybody. Looks great, Melissa. Awesome. Good, brother, head up. All right, here we go. On the last exhale, fold forward. Bring your hands behind your back as you clasp your fingers and take your knuckles up and over, broadening the collarbones across your upper chest. Release your fingertips to the floor. On an inhale, come halfway up. Fingertips can be to the floor or hands can come to your shins. And when you exhale, bow forward reverently to your feet and step your left foot back. Good. Spin your left heel down. Find your block. Reach your arms forward with the block as though you're making a great offering. And then inhale, rise up into Virabhadrasana 1. When you exhale, you're going to open into Warrior 2 with the block in your right hand. And here we go. Breathe in. The left arm sweeps forward, reaches for the block, exhaling. And then inhale. Take the block in your left hand and open up into Warrior 2. Good. Exhale and give the block back to your right hand. Good. 3 times total. Good. Watch that front knee, Kathy. Yes, that's great. Good. Nice adjustment. Beautiful. So the feet, the legs, the knees, and the pelvis, try to be as stable as possible so this move is completely isolated in the upper body, ribs, shoulder blades, shoulders. After your 3rd round, you're going to take the block into your left hand, set the block on the outer left thigh, and then you're set up for Exalted Warrior, or sometimes called Peaceful Warrior. Now, sink into that right hip crease, take the right sitting bone down towards the floor, and reach up through your right arm. Good, reaching tall through the right arm, stretching long through the right ribs. Breathing in, sweep your block up and overhead, and then both hands come to the floor. Set your block to the side. Gently make your way back to downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Take your time. On or off your knees, come forward to staff. And lower your body all the way down to the mat. Bending your elbows, bring your fingertips to the back of your head. Lift your elbows up off the floor. Keep your feet down. As you inhale, peel your head, elbows and chest up off the mat. Go ahead and push your head into your fingertips. Good, lift, lift, lift. Anchor down through 3 points of contact in the pelvis, pubic bone and the 2 hip points. One more breath, lift, lift, lift. Excellent. And then exhale, come down to the mat. Slide your hands underneath your shoulders and take whatever detours you'd like to get to downward facing dog. Floating your left leg up as you breathe in. Come forward to staff. Bring your left knee to your chest as you exhale. Good. 2 more times. Inhale, float up. Easy on your shoulders. It's a flow, not a flail. Exhale forward. Good. Smooth and controlled. 1 more time. Inhale, left leg floats back. Exhale, forward to staff, knee to chest. Stay here. Pull the knee up. Dome your spine. Pull that knee up even higher. Get your toes away from the floor. And then step forward. Good. You bring your right knee down. You can place your right hand on the mat, or I like to put it on a block. You're going to turn your left toes out to the left about 45 degrees. And take your left arm forward. Here we go. Breathing in, sweep the left arm to the left. Breathing out, left arm forward. Twice more. Breathing in, opening to the left in a twist, and exhaling. 1 more time. Inhale, open left arm back, stay here. Either enjoy this twist just the way it is, or kick your right foot up, grab a hold of the foot, roll that left shoulder back even more, and then pay some attention to the right shoulder and roll the right shoulder back. One more breath. Good. How's it going, Amanda? Hope it's great. Good. Then release your foot. Sweep your left arm forward. Both hands to the floor. And let's find that lunge. Lifting the right knee up off the mat. Good. Now reach the crown of your head forward and push back through the inseam of your right leg. From the pubic bone all the way to the inner heel. Get long, long, long through the inseam, and then take a breath in, look forward. And you'll step forward as you exhale. Good. 1 breath, Utkatasana. Sink the hips, bend the knees, arms up. And then bring your hands to your heart. As you exhale, stand up slow and strong. All right, beautiful. Arms down. We're going to hit the wall just for about 2 minutes, about a minute on each side. Here's what's going to happen. Take your block if you've got one. And I will, let's see, I might move my camera just a little bit so you can see what's happening over here. Okay, so if you are working with a block, this is a really nice way to stabilize the front leg. We're going to come into parsvakonsasa, that side angle pose at the wall. With my block, I'm going to step my left foot forward. I'm not moving my mat. Unless you have carpet, you're going to slip around. You might not need to move your mat. I'm going to take the block and nestle it between my left shin and the wall. Okay, that's going to keep my femur bone pretty static. From here, I can inch my right foot back until I get a nice long stance for side angle pose. Okay. At this point, left elbow to left thigh. And if you're banging your head on the wall, you probably need to move your right foot back a little more. All right, what happens next is right leg fires up. Left sitting bone, you know where that is. Bring your left sitting bone forward about, I don't know, 1/4 of an inch. See if you can get that feel of that rotation of the left sitting bone moving forward. Then I'll take my right arm up and over. Right fingertips find the wall. And just as we did earlier in the class in modified Vashisthasana, I'm not going to really work on torquing my right arm back behind me, although I want to. Rather, I'm going to work on turning my ribs to the right. I'm going to work my sternum. I'm going to work the muscles and the fibers all around my upper body to turn sternum towards the ceiling. But watch that back leg doesn't buckle. Good, we'll just stay for a couple more breaths, so everybody's got a chance to get into this who wants to. Yeah, that's great, Kathy. Nice way to use the banister. Left sitting bone rolls forward, and that'll just naturally draw the right hip back just a skosh without torquing the pelvis. Great, now here's the exit. You're like, how do I get out of this? The exit is, bring your right hand to your waist. Remove the block from between your left shin and the wall. And then both hands come to the wall. Straighten your left leg. And then slide your left foot back a step. Now you can spin up onto the ball of your right foot. And step forward as you walk your hands up the wall. Safe and secure. We're ready for the other side. Right foot goes forward. Block nestles between your shin and the wall. And I've got the block nestled, as you can see, so that its longest face is to the sides. So the block is in its longest angle, if that makes sense. Right elbow to the right knee. Inch, left foot back. Good, left hand to the waist. So I can encourage the right sitting bone now to move down and forward, almost like I'm trying to tuck it underneath my pelvis. Then left fingertips can come overhead, maybe find the wall. And the effort is in moving the ribs. Good, turning the sternum towards the ceiling, rolling those top ribs, the left ribs back. Good, wrapping the right ribs forward. Very nice, everybody, good. Head back just a little bit. Terrific. And then bring left hand to your waist. Good. Remove the block. Both hands to the wall. You can straighten the front leg. Slide the right foot back a little bit. Good, and then you can come up onto the ball of the back foot and step forward. Wonderful, good. Well done, everybody. Thanks for playing. Now we're gonna do a wall dog. So staying at the wall, just to balance everything and get everything back to symmetry, place your block between your thighs, long ways between your thighs, okay? Walk your feet back until you've got about a 90-degree angle in your hip crease. Take your arms forward, plant your hands to the wall. Good, and then the action here is to squeeze that block. I want you to squeeze the block, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. As you squeeze the block, spin the block like you're trying to spin it out behind you. Squeeze and spin. That spin develops the internal rotation to the femurs. Squeeze and spin. Notice when you spin, if your feet want to go a little pigeon-toed or if your knees want to go a little bow-legged. So you've got to regroup into that long inseam. Squeeze, spin, and lengthen through the inner line of your legs. One more breath, everybody. Squeeze, spin, and lengthen through the inseam of the legs. Really nice. Good. Come up onto your fingertips. Push yourself up. Woo! Remove the block. And let's go back to the mat. Standing, please. Set your block to the side. We'll come back to it in a minute. Before we make our way down to the floor, one balancing pose. If you want to be near your wall, go for it. I love having a wall nearby. I really, really do. So with your feet about sitting bone distance apart, we're going to come into a not too deep chair pose. Bring your palms together. A little bend in the knees and the hips. Now, you can stay here and have at it. Or You're gonna put your weight into your left leg. Cross your right ankle to the top of your left knee, coming into like a chair pigeon pose. Okay, like a pigeon squat. Just gonna hold it for 3 breaths. Good, sink down, beautiful. Excellent, Colorado represents. Nice, Cindy, nice, Bruce. Excellent, and then slowly set your right foot to the floor, stand up, move your hips. Say, yeah, yeah. All right, second side. Here we go, a little bend, not too deep. Shift your weight into your right leg. Those of you who want to go for it, left ankle to the top of your right knee. Right side is always so hard. Good. 3 breaths. Ooh. All right, slowly set your left foot back to the floor. Yeah, good. Arms to your sides, Tadasana. Breathing in, sweep your arms up. Reach up, look up. Palms together, exhale, bring the prayer all the way down the midline until your fingertips find the floor, even if you bend your knees, totally legit. Come halfway up as you take your next breath in. Straight, strong back. And then fold in half as you exhale. Walk your feet back one at a time to downward facing dog. Good. Glide forward to staff pose. Lower yourself all the way down to the mat. Knees or no knees, your call. Great. Bend your knees. Kick your heels up to your bum. Reach back. Right hand grabs for the right foot or ankle. Left hand for the left foot or ankle. And here we go, Dhanurasana. When you're ready, on an inhale, kick your feet into your hands and lift as much of your body off the floor that feels good for you. Good. Kick up, kick back. Let your legs, the power of your legs, do the work of broadening the connective tissue across your upper chest. Good modification, Sonia. I love it. Good. Good. 2 more breaths, everybody. Kick up, kick back. Relax your jaw. Kick up, kick back. And then slowly come down to the floor. Release your feet. Let your legs come down to the mat. Turn your head to one side and rest. Turn your legs to the other side. Or turn your head, not really. Well, your legs, no. Keep your legs where they are. It's not Cirque du Soleil. Keep your legs there. Turn your head to the other side. Like, well, what am I doing with my legs? Different class, sorry. Great. And bring your forehead to the floor. Slide your hands underneath your shoulders. And we're going to slowly come up onto hands and knees into tabletop. I want you to come onto your back. Take your feet out to one side. Roll onto your back. And when you get onto your back, I'll have you bring your knees to your chest. Good. We're going to do a supine Gomukhasana. Cross your right leg all the way over your left leg. Right thigh over left thigh. Good. And then just continue to draw your knees, hug your legs towards your chest. Those of you that want to slide your hands down your shins and take your hands to your ankles or your feet and draw your feet out and up, you're welcome to explore that variation. And keep your right knee in, but bring your left foot to the floor and slide your left leg down onto the mat. So we're ready for a twist. Now you can take your right arm out to the right and glide your left knee across your body to the left. And return to your back, gently coming out of the twist. Give your right knee a hug one more time. Great, and then pull your left knee up to meet your right knee. And you'll cross your left thigh all the way over your right thigh over thigh. Good, and then hugging both legs in. Hands can be wherever it's comfortable for you, your body, your knees. Be mindful of any hot spots in the knees, in the hip crease, and the groin. Keep your left knee into your chest, but just kind of unpack your right leg and take your right leg down onto the floor. And now we're set up for a twist to the right. Good, bring yourself onto your back once again. Hug both knees into your chest for a moment. Bringing body back to symmetry. Good, and then set feet to the floor. So a couple of options here. I'd like to do one more back bend, but a very supine, a very passive supported back bend. If you have a block, two choices. Bring the block underneath your hips as you come down onto your back, so you're in a supported bridge pose. It's really nice. Stimulates the vagus nerve, having the head below the heart in this way. It's a great way to drain lymph from the lower extremities through the thoracic duct into the nodes of the upper body, the upper chest, the mammary region, neck and throat. So that's one option. The second option I want to offer is a supported fish pose, and that's going to take your block underneath your scapula, like around bra line. Now here's the thing with fish pose. I want your head to be supported. So if you try fish, you'll get into it in the way that I am, with your bum on the mat and your feet on the floor and your knees bent. Come to your elbows first, so that you can position the block and see that it is indeed around bra line. Once it's on its lowest level, because I want you to be able to rock back. And if your neck and throat is okay with this, then you can bring the crown of your head to the floor. But I tell you, it's not all that comfortable for a great many people. It takes a while to open the tissues for this to be like something that is enjoyable. Now, an option, and I didn't have you take an extra prop, but if you really want to do the fish pose, which is great if you've been hunched and scrunched in a winter coat for the last week and a half. If you really want to do the fish pose, you'll get a second prop. Maybe that's a pillow off your sofa, right? Maybe it's a pillow off your bed, or maybe it's a blanket, or maybe it's a second block. And you'll set that underneath your head so that this lengthening, the stretch through the under the chin, the neck, and the throat isn't quite so intense. And if you choose to go into supported fish, then you can keep your knees bent or take your legs straight down the length of your mat. Totally up to you. You can toy around with both of these, determine which one feels best in your body on this particular day, in this particular time in the grand scheme of things. And I'm going to keep you here for about another 45 to 60 seconds. And if neither of these feel good, ditch it. And just, you know what you could do? You could come onto your belly again, because the way we started in that prone position with the forehead resting on the hands, that, believe it or not, is a spinal extension. That, my friends and other teachers on the screen, that's a back bend. So for your people who are new to yoga, or who maybe are struggling with back rehabilitation, that's your back bend. Okay, almost there. So here's your exit strategy. If you're in supported bridge pose, you'll have your feet on the floor and lift your hips just high enough to slide the block out from underneath you and lower your spine down to the mat. If you're in supported fish pose, Matsyendrasana, and then you bend your knees and bring your feet to the floor. Bring your hands behind your head. And with the support and power of your arms, rather than straining your neck, lift your head up and bring your chin towards your chest. So you'll be looking beyond your knees. And then from here, you can either roll to one side, coming off your block, or you can set your elbows down to the mat and then walk your hands back and bring yourself straight up. Be careful coming out of it. If you're in fish pose and that's a new shape for you, be super careful and compassionate coming out of it, especially if you're on a hard block. Okay, now it's time for Shavasana, the moment we've all been waiting for. I do hope you'll stick around because we're gonna work on our Maha Mrityunjaya mantra when we're finished. So roll onto your back. We're gonna take about a 6-minute Shavasana. And I'll always allow time for those of you who want to remain in Shavasana for an additional 5, 10, 15 minutes, of course. You are welcome and encouraged to do so. Take the Shava shape of your choice. Traditionally, that's flat on your back, right? You can take your legs up the wall. You can swing your legs over the sofa or over an ottoman. Do you want to crawl up into bed? Go for it. It's the beauty of yoga at home. And once you get down for the count, I'll have you bring one hand to your low belly and one hand to your low ribs. And so you can keep tabs on your breath. Notice as your breath begins to settle, energy prana begins to settle into this container of your temple. Mind also begins to settle. No extravagant breathing instructions today. Just maybe a few more breaths with your hands on your body. And then as you feel ready, you can bring your arms down to your sides. Breathe easy and rest easy. I'll get you in a few minutes, then we'll finish class together. if the time and space is available to you to stay in Shavasana for another 5, 7, 10 minutes, even longer, then I strongly encourage you to do so. Otherwise, deepen your breath. Move your fingers, move your toes. Those of you who are lying down, pull your knees up one leg at a time, setting your feet to the mat. Visualize your pathway to sitting. And then make it so. Maybe rolling to your favorite side, letting your head be the last piece and part of you that comes up. We've been working on since the 1st of January, what's often called the Maha Mrityunjaya mantra. This is from the Rig Veda, and it's considered the heart of the Vedas. This mantra ranks right up there alongside the Gayatri mantra, right? Everybody knows the Gayatri mantra. So this is one that should be in your toolkit as well, in my humble opinion. So there's a lot going on in this mantra, 4 lines though, and it is used in it's used in contemplation and meditation, of course, ceremonies and rituals at times of birth and also at times of death. And it's considered the death conqueror mantra. Now, that doesn't mean that, we never ever die, but what it means is when we're facing fear, particularly fear of death, this mantra is what is recommended, prescribed, if you will, and what comes into play. So conquering our fears and conquering our fear of death. So Om Triambakam Yajamahe, those 2 words go together, Yajamahe, Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam, Vardhanam. So we've been working on the first 2 lines the last couple of weeks. Om Triambakam Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam. So there's that H after the D in the first word of the second line, Sugandhim, and the H after the D in the third word, Vardhanam, the H gets a little time. Okay, and then the third line is Urdvar, and the A moves into the R, so it becomes Urdvarukamiva, Urdvarukamiva, Bandhanan, Bandhanan. Mrityur, the last line's fun, a lot of rolling of the R's. Mrityur Mukshiya Mamritat. Okay, so we're working on the first 2 lines, so we'll do call and response for the first 2 lines, and then we'll work on that third line. So I'll go, and if you're interested, and if you want to, you can respond. Om Triambakam Yajamahe. Now you go. Om Triambakam Yajamahe. Good, let's do that line again. Om Triambakam Yajamahe. Om Triambakam Yajamahe. One more time. Om Triambakam Yajamahe. You go. Om Triambakam Yajamahe. Second line. Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam. Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam. Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam. Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam. One more time. Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam. Okay, third line. Urdvarukamiva. That's fun. Urdvarukamiva Bandhanan. Now you go. Urdvarukamiva Bandhanan. I'll do it again. Urdvarukamiva bandhanan. Urdvarukamiva bandhanan. Okay, let's try all three of those lines together because I'm watching the time and I want to be respectful. So here we go. All three together. Join if you want to. Have a good time. Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam Urdvarukamiva Bandhanan. Yeah, good. All right, that's awesome. Great. We'll work on the third line more next week, and then we'll add the fourth line in, and then we'll rock this thing. Until then, bring your hands together, your base of your thumbs to your forehead. Peaceful and fearless mind. Bring your fingertips to your lips. Peaceful and fearless expression. And bring your hands to your heart. A peaceful and fearless spirit. Thank you so much for joining me and all the others on the screen. Thank you, thank you, thank you.